all you need to know. The Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. You're listening to the Daily Morning Update from Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 4th of February. All of us are still taking in all the aspects of the budget for the new year. It was presented, remember, on Saturday, and I'm sure a lot of investors and economists out there are doing the same. Data included in budget documents showed a decline in the revised estimates of transfers to states, and in fact, Prachi Mishra, chief India economist of Goldman Sachs, said that this could pose an eventual risk to growth. In an interview with Bloomberg Quint, she said that while this could be on account of the corporate tax rate cut, she pointed out that the share of tax transfers to states has also declined. The D1, D3 gas field in the Krishna Godavari basin in the Bay of Bengal, which was India's first deep-water gas field, ceased to produce on Monday, that's yesterday, after a $1 billion investment and mammoth technology intervention by Reliance Industries and its partner BP extended the life of the fields by 4 years. The output, which peaked at over 61 million standard cubic meters per day in 2010, had been on the decline as sand and water ingress forced wells to shut down one after the other. In the last quarter, it only produced an average of just 1.5 million standard cubic meters per day. Markets regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has proposed allowing completion of open offers for shares through stock exchange settlement for all types of transactions, including bulk deals and block deals. Those proposals are included in a discussion paper. Look up the story on the website for more details. The Kerala government yesterday declared the novel coronavirus epidemic as a state calamity, with a third student testing positive for the infection in the state. The decision was taken at a meeting of the Apex Committee of the State Disaster Management Authority, which is chaired by Chief Secretary Tom Jose, just hours after the third case was confirmed. A medical bulletin issued by the government said that the health status of all three students who tested positive for the virus was satisfactory. The US, meanwhile, has said that it is preparing for a possible pandemic, and Hong Kong closed more checkpoints with mainland China as the number of cases crossed 20,000 with 425 fatalities. Two-thirds of the Chinese economy will remain closed this week as several provinces took the extraordinary step of extending the Lunar New Year holiday to help curb the spread of the disease. And as Beijing tries to contain the damage from the worsening crisis, officials are evaluating whether the target for economic growth this year should be softened. China is also hoping that the US will agree to some flexibility on pledges in their Phase 1 trade deal, according to people familiar with the situation. US stocks advanced in trade yesterday, with the Dow and the S&P 500 rising 0.5 and 0.7% respectively. The Nasdaq climbed as much as 1.3%. Tesla was the headline outperformer, gaining for a fifth straight day and adding 21% in value. The reason for that is that Panasonic, which makes batteries for Tesla, said that the business turned profitable in the quarter ended December 31st, with Panasonic Chief Financial Officer Hirokazu Umeda telling reporters in Tokyo that the rapid increase in Tesla's output helped push that business into the black. And Asian stocks are mixed at the start today, but all eyes are going to be on the markets in China. On the mainland, they took quite the battering in trade yesterday. And with that, it's over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Darshan. How are we looking at the start today?
Hi Alex, good morning everyone. The US indices managed to bounce back in trade yesterday. Crude fell in below the $50 barrel per mark. Asia has opened slightly weak, but the SGX Nifty is indicating a positive outlook. Back to earnings today, three Nifty companies will come out with numbers: Adani Ports, Bharti Airtel and Titan. Among the other one, there is Tata Global, TVS Motors, Piramal Enterprises, JSW Energy, PNB, REC, Thermax, Exide, Adani Green, Apollo Pipes and Avanti Feeds. Among the numbers announced announced Deepak Nitrite strong numbers, revenues up 46%, profit up 4 times and EBITDA up 2.5 times. The numbers are not comparable due to the addition of the phenol segment revenue started in the fourth quarter. Incremental contribution from the phenolic segment and continued strength in the performance product segment aided the top line. GlaxoSmithKline revenues down 5%, EBITDA down 10%, EBITDA margins at 16% versus 17% last time. There's a net loss of 661 crores due to an exceptional loss of 756 crores that the company had suffered, and that was on account of recognizing financial impairment to the underutilization of its manufacturing facilities. Shriram Transport NII down 1%, profit up 38%, and sharp decline in credit cost drops, and that aided the profit. But overall, it was slightly muted. The AUM growth remained slow at 5% growth versus a 4% growth in the third quarter. Growth remained slow, but the asset quality was slightly better. Affle India, the revenue was up 28%, net profit up 32%, EBIT up 18%. The revenue growth was led by festive season. The lower margins was due to higher employee expenses this time around. The India segment revenues up 53%. International segment revenues was up 4%. CPCU business drive drove the revenue growth, while the client concentration continues to ease. AstraZeneca revenues up 4%, EBITDA down 10%, profit down 9%, and the lower margins was seen due to higher raw material cost. SRF revenues up 2%, EBITDA up 25%, margins at 21% versus 17%. The net profit was up 2 times due to the tax reversal in the current quarter. Lower raw material cost aided the margins. Overall, the technical textile business revenues was down 26%, packaging revenues was down 9%, and the entire revenue growth was driven by the chemical business, which was up 40%. Welspun Corp revenues up 21%, profit up 330%, EBITDA up 92%. The revenue growth was led by the US and India operation. They lowered debt by 114 crores in the third quarter, and the order book stood at $1.5 billion. Among the other stocks to watch, Reliance has said that the new production from the KG-D6 project will start by mid-2020. TCS has expanded the partnership with Walgreen Boot Alliance for digital solution. It's valued at $1.5 billion over a 10-year period. Manappuram Finance, in which Barings India Private Equity is offering to sell 4.2 crore shares or close to 5% of the company. The floor price is at a discount of 7%, and Barings currently has 8.7% stake in the company. SRF, along with the numbers, has approved a project to debottleneck the HFC capacity at Dahej for 65 crores, and they will set up a dedicated facility to produce intermediate catering to agrochemical segment for 238 crores. JK Cement has commissioned 2 grey cement grinding capacity plants with a combined capacity of 2.5 MTPA. National Peroxide has said that the Kalyan plant has commenced operation with effect from Feb 2, and cement stocks will be in focus. Morgan Stanley says that the cement prices has increased across all regions by around 4 to 5%. Goldman Sachs says that the price hike have been taken in various regions to the tune of 15 to 25 rupees per bag, and another attempt to increase prices by 50 to 60 per bag in several regions in South India over the last 1 or 2 days. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website bloombergquint.com and click on the All You Need to Know tab, and you'll be prepared for morning trade.
Thanks, Darshan. Well, that's all we have for you on this podcast, but as always, and like Darshan says, there's a lot more on the website bloombergquint.com, so don't forget to check it out. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.